Okay guys, here are some of the most popular scaling options for the pistol squat. The easiest version probably is the closed feet squat. Then there is the heel locked squat. There's the so-called toenail squat. Then there's the lunge squat. And I can make this one a little bit harder by only bringing the knee down without the help of my lower leg. We experienced that most people are more likely to use the box as a scaling options because it seems to be a little bit easier. The problem is it may not lead me to a full pistol squat because I may lack the range of motion in my ankle joint or in my hip joints, and it doesn't improve when I use the box. I show you these versions. Probably the most common version. A little bit easier. So the problem is, usually people who lack mobility in their ankle joints or in their hip joints, they end up doing this version. So here's the solution. Better than the regular box pistol squat or a half-ass box pistol squat would be putting the box into a high position and then starting in the lowest possible position with a step up. The band assisted pistol squat is probably the smartest version for people who have range of motion, who don't lack mobility, but they are close to a pistol squat, or they just need a little bit of assistance in the bottom position. So there's the simple setup. It should be high enough that I can put my butt on top of the band. So what I do like a lot about this band-assisted pistol squat, it gives me most assistance in the bottom position where I need most of the assistance because that's the hardest part of this movement. Other than, for example, if you review my pull-up video for scaling the pull-ups, people often use bands just because that's the only scaling option they know, and the band on the pull-up assists in the very low position a lot because the band is long, and it doesn't assist anymore if I want to bring my chin over the bar because that's where the band is short. It's different over here because if I go down with my butt, I have a lot of assistance down there, and then the assistance goes away when I move up, and that's very smart, and that's what I need for pistols, what I don't need for the pull-ups. There is another scaling option for the pistol squat that I didn't mention so far. If you have lifters, it will probably help you to get into a deeper position or to do more pistol squats because your heel is elevated. So for a workout like today's workout of the day, where we have deadlifts and pistol squats, it might be smart to use the lifters, even for the pistol squats if you lack mobility. Let's sum it up. For beginners and for people new to pistol squats, I would probably prefer the high box step up first, because that's the easiest way to practice the deep position and to gain strength in the one-legged squat. Other than that, I would probably prefer the versions on the ground. Like we said, the closed feet squat versions, which are good for beginners also, or the heel locked version, which I showed, the toenail version, even if it feels a little bit weird. And then we have these lunging versions, where I will slowly take away assistance by probably not putting the whole leg down there anymore and just keeping the foot up and just raising, touching the knee, which is not easy. I need some strength over here, but I don't need a lot of mobility. And finally, for people who have mobility, but they probably lack the motor control, the balance, or the strength on one leg, the band-assisted pistol squat is the go-to version. Just make sure the band is not too low, and just make sure that the band is according to your abilities. So don't make it too easy and just bounce up and down. That's not what we want to see. So how do I get to a real pistol squat? Well, first of all, if I lack flexibility or mobility, which is meant to be active, then the best way to do it is not only stretching ankles or hips or whatever, is using different versions of scaling options during the workouts. And the more often I do it and the more often I change the scaling option, I will increase the range of motion, and I mean the active range of motion, and then I will increase the mobility also. So stretching will probably help, but if stretching is the only solution, you have to be active. So I will use different scaling options on different workouts for the same movement. The same applies for pull-ups, the same applies for muscle-ups, the same applies for all the movements where there are scaling options. If you always use the same scaling option, it probably only gets you better to a certain point. And then it would be better to mix the scaling options, and if you're not sure about it, ask your coach. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.